This is Jim with Harvest Harmonics, and I want to welcome you to today's episode of The Profitable Farmer. And I understand that you watch me do presentations, you watch me show the results, you watch me showing other farmers around the world getting 30, 40, 50%, 100%, 200% increases in yield. And I know by now you got to be getting bored with all these other farmers that are winning and making all this money, and you're not on board yet. And I get it. But at the other hand, I thought, today let's take away all that boring stuff. Let's get rid of all the people that are winning and making a lot of money and producing better produce and having all these amazing success stories, and let's deal with something that's even more exciting, that's even more fun. Math. Okay, sorry. Even I fall asleep when I talk about math. But you know what? Math is an important skill, okay? It's an important factor. And if you understand basic math, and I know most farmers do, believe me, when I talk to a farmer and I ask them how much they're making per acre, they know it like that. And I ask them how much their input costs are per acre, they know like that. So farmers are really good at basic math. And I'm not talking about integral calculus or something so advanced that's probably not applicable. I'm talking about just basic arithmetic, because when you really break down the numbers, the bottom line is you're costing yourself a fortune. You're costing yourself an absolute fortune if you're not using the Kiwis plant booster. And I want to walk you through some of this basic calculations, the basic mathematical systems we use, and we're talking to farmers to help it make sense in a real way, in a real world way. Because it's one thing to talk about, well, how much are you making per year and how much does this thing cost? How much does that fertilizer cost? How much does that pesticide cost? How much are you losing due to insect damage or weather fluctuations or all these things? All these things can be, interesting, but when you really break it down to brass tacks, what you really have to figure out is how much does something cost, not only, but also how much of a benefit am I getting for that investment? Because you can have things that are dirt cheap. And I mean, I'm talking about, like, I've heard some people say they spend like $15 an acre on some fertilizer or something like that. And I'm like, $15 an acre. What does that input even do for $15 an acre? I mean, what is it even achieving for you? You know, I got Daniel Brown saying Jim, and I got somebody basically yelling at me because I probably have ignored you. Daniel, I'm sorry. If you have a question, please let me know. I'm happy to answer it for you. And better yet, Daniel, if you're here on the stream with me, let me know. We'll plug in some of these numbers for you. Let me know what your numbers look like, and I'd be happy to do. Or anybody here watching this, I'd be happy to do live calculations and show you how much the Kiwis plant booster will mean for you in terms of extra profitability. So let me share my screen with real quick, and I just want to show what we got here. So let me show you this. So the first example I have for you guys is on apples, okay? Now, I have taken the name out to protect the innocent or the guilty or whatever you want to call it. But this is a calculation we did for an apple grower, okay? And this is in Washington State in the United States here. And he's growing a variety of different apples. He's growing Honeycrisp, he's growing Red Delicious, he's growing, I believe, Granny Smith, and different varieties. So this one, I think, it may have been on the Honeycrisp, because I know he was interested in bitter pit, which is a disease that really affects, Honeycrisp especially. But Honeycrisp are a very valuable apple. It's a very valuable variety to have. So if you can get Honeycrisp right and you're an apple grower, you're going to make a lot of money with it. So we took this example and we ran it through the numbers. And I want to kind of walk you through what this spreadsheet is showing you here. Okay, so here we have let me get my cursor. Here we have, again, Washington State apples. So he has 100 acres. Now, he actually has more than that, but we were looking at, he's got 100 acres of Honeycrisp, right? And so I skipped over the pesticide savings that he can do, and I'll get to that in a second. But he basically, and this number we usually do, like, we can change the units, like pounds per acre, bushels an acre if you're dealing with corn, tons per acre, maybe in some cases, but we take the unit of measurement that the farmer is actually using. In this case, he's using bins as his unit of measurement, right? So a bin, and I can't remember how many, I think a bin was somewhere around 60 or 70 pounds, maybe a little bit more than that. I can't remember. But in any case, he says that he gets about 80 bins per acre. And basically, you have this huge bin full of apples, right? And so he's saying on an average per acre basis, he's producing currently 80 bins per acre per year, right? And then I asked him, okay, well, how much are you getting when you sell the apples? How much do you get per bin? And he told me he's getting $200 per bin. And I said, okay, great. So if you're currently producing 80 bins per acre and you're getting 200 bins, right, or $200 per bin, that means you're making, and I didn't have the calculation here, but that basically means you're making, God, I can't even do my math today. $16,000. Okay, so you're making $16,000 an acre on these apples right now. Okay, so not bad, not great, not bad, but whatever. 16,000 is pretty good, and he's got 100 acres, so he's making, $1.6 million on his apples on that 100 acres. So that's a pretty good return, right? So the next step here, what you see at this 20% is basically. Sorry, let me turn this off here. Sorry. Forgot that people are still calling me. People always call me all day long, and I usually shut this off. I apologize. Hold on one second. Let me turn off my do not disturb. There we go. Okay. Now I'll get back to those farmers. Don't worry about it. Because they're probably calling in to find out what their cost benefit is. Anyway, so what we do is we take 20%. Now, why do I choose 20%? Is it because I want to make it sound like I'm producing something I'm not? No, it is 20% is the low end average of what our technology produces. Now, I know if you're thinking to yourself, well, we get fertilizers that claim 20% all the time, and we never get that. With the Kiwis plant booster, we actually get much higher than that. We try to stay conservative in our estimates because we want to make farmers pleasantly surprised, right? So we take the low end of it, and I can show you examples. If you've seen any of my presentations in the past, you'll know that 20% is actually pretty low. And you can go through our Facebook channel or YouTube channel and see numerous examples where we're producing 30%, 40%, 50%, 100%, 200%. We're producing pretty amazing results. And of course, that'll vary depending on how good you're doing. But so we said, look, if I can get you 20% increase in yield, which is conservative for what my Kiwis plant booster will do, okay, then that will translate to an extra 16 bins per acre because 20% of 80 bins is 16, right? And at $200 a bin, that's $3,200 per acre more on top of what you're currently doing. Again, he's doing 1.6 million. He's doing 16,000. Per acre. So if I add another $3,200 in extra yield, that means he's going to have a net revenue gain of 3,200. So an extra 16 bins times 200. Now, what I do here is this is the price we were charging him for apples for specialty crops. Now, this price could change somewhat depending on the type of crop you have. However, $500 an acre for specialty crops is our cost for a 2-year product. Now, it lasts for 2 years, and what we're seeing is if I charged him the average price, right, the average specialty cost, then $250 of that cost comes out of the 3,200, and that leaves a net profit here, which you see in yellow, of $2,950. Okay, and when you take that's a per acre additional production. Now, when you take 100 acres, his extra production is going to be 295,000. So, and again, 100 acres times 2,950 is $295,000 more for this 100 acres of Honeycrisp. And then when we multiply that by 2 years, because the Kiwis plant booster is a 2-year product, right? We're going to get a net profit of $590,000. Now, I want you to understand here, at 500 an acre times 100 acres, again, that's a $50,000 purchase. So sometimes when people are confronted with $50,000, they're thinking to themselves, "Oh my God, that's a huge investment," right? But you look at it on the other side. What's $50,000 investment going to get you? What is the value add for that, right? Because again, you can pay $15 an acre for a cheap fertilizer. You can pay $20, $25, $30 an acre for a cheap fertilizer or cheap input, right? But what are you going to get in return for that? Are you going to get an extra $30 an acre in extra yield or better quality? Are you going to get 50? Okay, that's fine. That's good. If it's a net profit, it's a net profit, right? But what if you had something where every dollar you gave me and I gave you a $10 bill back? Because that's the kind of numbers we're looking at here, right? Yes, it's a $50,000 investment, but take a look here. He's making $590,000. That's actually about an 11%, almost 12%, 12 times, 12x, so 1,200% times return on investment. So again, if you have a product that's going to get you a 10 times investment, you shouldn't be asking, oh my gosh, this is expensive. You should be saying, how much money can I possibly give you? How can I find find this $50,000? Because at the end of that year, he's already paid our whole system off and made a substantial profit. In the end of 2 years, he's banked 10 times his investment there. So again, so that's Apple. So that's great. So let's take a look at another example, and this is on kiwis. I literally just did this in Greece here. And this is in Greece now. If you want to think, oh, okay, that's a high value crop or that's a high value area, whatever. I mean, this is in Greece. Greece is not necessarily a high value area, right? So here in Greece, we have a kiwi grower, right? And here we have he wanted to do a small trial of total square meters, right? Now these are square meters. I mean, we're talking like a greenhouse, right? A greenhouse garden. So, but I use this as a small example to show you that literally, and I think this is actually hectares. Maybe I can't remember. I think it was square meters. So he has 3 square meters, right? And he has pounds per square meter. He does 40 pounds per square meter, and then he gets a price per kilogram here, and this is actually kilograms, I think, of 800. So he's basically making 40 times. He's making $3,200 per kilogram here, right? And yet 20% increase, he's going to get an extra 8 pounds per square meter, right? He's going to make an extra $6,400 per kilogram because kiwis are a high value crop here. Now, the cost of our system, I believe this is actually hectares, not square meters, to be perfectly honest. But these prices are in square meters. However, the total here is the cost per hectare. So $1,500 per hectare. He's taking that $6,400 that he's making on a per hectare basis and paying the $750, and he's netting a profit of $5,650. So again, in the first year on this very small plot, he's paid for the device, the complete device, and he's netting an extra. His first year he's netting. He's netting a profit over 16, almost $17,000 there. So 3,300. So imagine $1,500 investment here, and he's netting 33,000. That's a 20x return on investment. 20 times his investment he's getting back. And I have a question here. Do you have any results in barley? And we're working on barley right now. We don't have them completed yet, but we're definitely working on several different grains, including wheat and other stuff. So if you want to be the first barley grower, by all means, contact us. Our phone number's there. And we would love to work with barley farmers as well. Again, these systems are very, very profitable. Right. So, and there's our email address. If you want to email us your information, we'd be happy to work with you on barley and other crops. So let's take a look at another example. Again, I don't want you to think I'm just cherry picking items. Now, here's an item that's very interesting. Now, this is maize or corn, basically, right? Now, as we all know, corn is a commodity crop. It's just like wheat, canola, those types of things. These are commodity crops, meaning what you have in those situations is broad acres, right? In this case, we're talking hectares, right? So in corn production here in the United States, you might be talking 100 acres, 120, 200, anywhere between, let's say, 80 acres per pivot per field, all the way up to 200 acres, right? However, when the corn farmer goes to sell his product, he's not necessarily making a ton of money per acre on a per acre basis. I mean, if I showed you what strawberry growers are making per acre, you'd be floored by how much money they can make with this. But I bring up this example because I want to show you that even commodity crop growers are making money with Kiminasi. Now, with Kiminasi, with the corn and commodity crops, we have a different price structure. Okay, it doesn't mean that our product is necessarily cheaper. It's just that with pivots and large systems, large fields like corn growers have, they usually operate on pivots or very large irrigation systems, and the cost of our systems do not scale on a per acre basis in the same way when we have big pivot systems. In other words, those are very efficient irrigation systems, and we can enable the farmer to have a reduced cost. So instead of $1,500 per hectare, he may pay $400 or $500 per hectare, right? So, but we took a look at, and I literally just did this today. Okay, this is on maize in Ghana. Okay, this is not in United States or some really affluent country. This is Ghana, right? And I asked him, I said, okay, how many hectares is a typical field for maize for his cornfield? And he said 40 hectares. That's about 100 acres, right? So 100-acre field, that's pretty standard, right? And I said, okay, how many tons are you getting per acre or per hectare? And he said 5 tons. Now, just so you know, 5 tons is incredibly low, by the way. We're having other growers that are saying that they're making, anywhere between 20 and 50 tons per hectare as a starting point, right? But he had a very low production. He's only making 5 tons per hectare. I said, okay, it's going to be tight. And I said, how much are you getting per ton? He said, $428 a ton. Okay. And we did the whole calculation. It was like $15 by 18 kilograms. So we multiplied out by 1,000 and figured it all out. It was $428 a ton. So again, we negotiated a special price because of the special corn price we have. It was $400 a hectare, and you split that in half because it's to your product. So his annual cost is going to be 200 a hectare. So we make him 428, and he pays for the device and he makes an extra 228. So his net profit on a per hectare basis is $228. He's got 40 hectares, so that's $9,100, and then that is $18,240. Now let's take a look here because we have 40 hectares, right? Times $400 per hectare. So his investment was $16,000. So essentially, even on a commodity crop, he paid for that $16,000 and he netted $18,000 in return. So he netted a 2.3x return on investment, right? So he paid for our system and he still made more than double his money, and that's on a commodity crop, guys. So just to let you guys know, even commodity guys are making a ton of money with this. So let's just continue. I want to give you just a few examples, guys. And again, if you have questions, please write them in the chat, or if you want us to do your own breakdown, we'd be happy to go through this with you. So let's look at tomatoes. Now, tomatoes is again a high value crop, and this is a gentleman in Israel. Again, he wants to do 100 acres, right? Now he's got 80 tons per acre per year. Now this is actually a pretty good production at 80 tons. I mean, in the United States, I usually hear numbers of around 40 to 50 tons per acre. Right. So he's doing 80, right? Now the price per ton is $1,000 on corn. I mean on these tomatoes, right? So he's getting a good yield, and I believe this is organic tomatoes, but I'm not sure. So he's getting $1,000 per ton. He's doing 80 tons, and I said, look, good. If we do 20% on this, that's an extra 16 tons per acre. That translates at $1,000 a ton to $16,000 per acre, and then you pay for our device at $250 an acre, and I'm probably going to increase that to 2,500. So Yaron, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to charge you more because you're going to make too much money on this, and nobody's going to believe you. I'm just kidding, Yaron. Don't worry about it. But anyway, he's going to net $15,750, and in the course of a 100-acre field, think about this: 100 acres, he's going to net in the first year alone $1.5 million. Over 2 years, the life of the system, he's going to net $33.1 million. Now, I want you to stop and think for a second. $500 an acre times $100 is $50,000. Would you pay $50,000 for a $3.1 million return? I mean, that's almost like playing the lottery, except for the lottery doesn't guarantee anything, you win anything. So the lottery doesn't give you your money back if they don't produce at least $3 worth when you pay the lottery. We give you your money back if we don't at least cover your loss there, cover the expense. Now, if you're looking at this going, okay, great, there's no way you're going to increase that by 20%. Okay, let's just say for the sake of argument that because their production's already so high, because everything's so great already, we may not get 20% on this guy. This guy may just have everything so completely dialed in. There's absolutely no way we're going to get 20%. So let's go down to what you might normally consider for a regular input, right? So let's go down to 5%. And let's show you here. Even at 5%, that's still 3750 per acre. That's still on a 100-acre block. That's still $750,000. So even at 5%, even if I almost failed, I can still make this guy multiple times. Again, what's that? 7 times return on investment. I mean, this is a huge, huge, huge difference. And I want to just show you here. Just take some questions. Results in barley. We already answered that. No, thanks for sharing. Appreciate it. Stay informed about the farming. Thank you so much. Yarn's case is amazing. I mean, Yarn is hitting out of the park. And just so you know, guys, this isn't even close to the highest amount. If I showed you what I showed a hemp grower, last year, you guys would pass out. I mean, you literally would. I'm not even going to show you what the hemp guy can make. Hemp guys, this number was like $50,000 an acre for hemp. I'm talking commercial hemp, not cannabis. We don't deal with medical marijuana. So, marijuana growers, if you're looking at this and salivating, I'm sorry, we don't sell to you guys. We don't sell to drug farmers. But industrial hemp that's non-THC, we can help you guys. And I've seen numbers up to $50,000 on that. And it's just you think that's let's keep going. Again, Zubair, this is in the United Arab Emirates. Now he didn't know all the calculations, right? This guy didn't actually know. He didn't know like the pounds per acre and all that stuff. So he just said, all I know is I make about $5,000 an acre. Or excuse me, no, I'm sorry, he did know it. This was a different guy. I'm sorry. Well, so 5,000 pounds. He said, let's just try for 1 acre. He didn't, want to go into how many acres he had and all that stuff. Fine. So we said, good. If I just did 1 acre, now a 1 acre field, I have a unit that can cover 1 acre field for $1,000. And that's kind of the minimum system that we have is $1,000. But he said, I just want to do a 1 acre trial. I said, okay, fine. I said, how many pounds of cucumbers are you producing per acre? He said, 5,000 pounds. Great. How much are you getting per pound when you sell those cucumbers? He said, well, that's a high value crop. I get $12 a pound. I said, good. So that's basically $60,000 is what you're currently producing per acre. He said, yeah, that's about right. I said, good. So I'm going to be conservative on it. I'm just going to say, what if I got you 10% over that? He said, if you can get me 10% over that, I'm going to buy for my, I think he had 500 or 600 acres or something like that. So I said, look, at 10%, this isn't not what my system does. My system does 20%. What if I did, and I'll tell you what I did at a cucumber farm in Russia, and this is what we got there. 33%. What if I did the same that I did for that other grower in Russia and got 33% increase in yield? That means he would make 1,650 pounds per acre. This is a 1 acre trial, guys. It's not like thousands of acres. This is 1 acre, right? 1,900, that would be $19,800 in additional yield if I got a 33% increase, right? Minus the cost of my system. Again, it's a 2-year product, so we take half of that, 500 for the first year on an annual basis. And he's going to net $19,300 on that 1 acre, right? And of course, the same numbers here. And over 2 years, he'd net 38,000. That's 19 times the return on investment, 1,900% return on investment. Guys, this is like Bitcoin. This is the Bitcoin of agriculture. I mean, it really does. It really does produce these kinds of results. I mean, I'm not even lying. This is literally the Bitcoin. If you had a chance to buy Bitcoin in 2009, when it was like $20 a coin, and you kept that coin, and now you're selling it at 2022 for what is it, 25, 30,000? I don't even know what it is now. It's like $30,000 a coin. I mean, these are the kinds of returns our farmers are seeing, especially on specialty crops. If you're a specialty crop grower anywhere in the world and you haven't seen this or used this, I mean, you're just missing out. I don't want you guys to miss out. And I'm going to do one more here. Goes back to Ghana. Again, I did this one today. This is on bananas. Okay. Now, again, I asked him, I said, okay, good. So he's only got 2, this is by hectare, by the way, not by acre. I said, he's got 2 hectares of bananas, right? And I said, how many, and I said, how many tons? These are not tons. These are not pounds. These are tons. So these calculations, even though the units are a little bit different, I'm letting you know that this is tons per acre. So 70 tons per acre, he makes $833 per ton. Now he does 2 different crops, 2 different seasons in the same year. So he gets 35 tons and then 35 tons. So 70 tons over the course of the whole annual year. He's going to make $833 per ton. And that's his average yield. So what does that translate? What is he actually making on those bananas currently? So he's currently making $58,310 on his bananas in a hectare. Okay. Now, 20% is the average. I'm just telling you what I do all the time. 20%, okay? That's 14 extra tons per hectare per year, okay? At $833 a ton, that's $11,662 per acre per year, minus the cost of my system. In fact, I'm probably gonna have to charge him $2,000. Sorry, Mohammed. I'm gonna have to double my price what I usually sell. Even if I doubled my price, let me make it so stupid, okay? You want to complain about the cost of my system? I'm gonna charge you $4,000 for my system. I'm gonna charge you $4,000 a hectare, okay? What if I charged 1,000? That's more than $1,000 per acre, okay? You want to get expensive? Let's make it stupidly expensive. And this is way more than I'm going to charge you, by the way. What if it was 4,000? What if I charged $10,000 a hectare? Okay, that would be $4,000. If I charge this guy $4,000 an acre for my Kiminasi plant booster, and I still produce 20% more on bananas, which is that's the baseline. That's what I do everywhere, right? He's going to make 11,000, pay my 5,000 per year, still pay for that and make an extra $6,000 and he clears 6,000. That's if I charge $10,000 a hectare. I mean, that'd be 4,000 an acre, guys, and he would still make his money back. So let's bring it back down to, like, let's say more common. Let's say it's $1,500 an acre, because that's usually what we sell it for abroad. So $1,500 per acre to your product. He's going to net a profit of $10,900 per hectare. Again, we're only talking about 2 hectares so far, but he's going to be expanding this once he starts using our tech. I guarantee you. He makes an extra $21,000 and $43,000 over 2 years. So $43,000 again. The cost of our system is $1,500, so he's making 30 times his return on investment. That's a 3,000% return on investment. Now, why am I doing all this math for you? I'm doing all this math for you because it's very easy just to stay stuck in the mindset of I have to reduce my cost to zero as much as possible, and I have to keep my costs at the absolute bare minimum because, oh my God. But that's only if you have inputs that are not producing revenue for you. If you have inputs that are not generating more revenue, more yield, better quality, better shelf life, better higher export percentage, and all these other factors. If you have a technology that's delivering on its promises and actually creating more revenue, then you're going to make a lot more money on the revenue side, making more money and more revenue on the sales side than you ever will trying to save money. So I urge you guys, please give me a call and let's work out on your farm this cost benefit analysis. It's a free service we offer to any farmer. So if you want to find out what the cost benefit analysis looks like for your farm, then we'd be happy to do that with you and walk you through it, because it's just simple math, guys. And again, all these calculations are real world calculations that I've done on farms just in the last couple of weeks here. So we do an average of, I don't know, 20 or 30 farms a week where we do these cost benefit analysis, and the numbers don't lie. Salesmen lie, politicians lie, but the numbers don't lie. And at the end of the day, it's a very simple calculation. It's very simple for us to look at what you're currently doing and give you a realistic picture of what you could be doing with Kiminasi Plant Booster. So I look forward to working with you guys soon. I want to help you crunch the numbers and help you have the best year you've ever had this year and going forward. And all I need is you give me a call, 727-324-6750, or you can also email me at service@harvestharmonics.com. Let's do the cost benefit analysis for you and your farm, and let's get you set up with this so that you can have the best year ever.